Alright guys, welcome to our first video for academic statistics this year. We're going to be looking at the big picture of statistics in our video today. The big picture of statistics in a nutshell, what statistics is all about is taking data, okay, and we're taking data and we're getting information from that data, okay? So we're taking data and we're getting information from that data. Statistics is therefore the process in which we collect this data, then we summarize the data in some form or fashion, and then we go on to interpret the data from that summary. Okay? The process of statistics starts when we identify what group we want to study or learn something about. This group that we're trying to study about is what we call the population. Okay? The word here, note that the word population, you're used to hearing this used in terms of people. But we're going to use it in a broader sense to refer to not only people, but to animals, objects, whatever we're interested in, whatever we're studying again, okay? And examples of these could be the opinions of population U.S. adults about the death penalty, how the population of mice react to a certain chemical, the average prices of the population of all one-bedroom apartments in a certain city. So this word we're using over and over again here, population, then is the entire group that's the target of our interest, okay? Now, in most cases, the population is so large that we, as much as we want to, we can't study all of it, okay? So we can't get the opinions of all U.S. adults about the death penalty, okay? A more practical approach is going to be to examine and collect data from a subgroup of the population. That subgroup is what we call a sample. Okay? So, in this process, this first step that we're talking about, which is producing data, we're taking this large group here, this population, and with this population, we're producing a sample. Okay? So that's kind of our first step in statistics, is we have to produce this sample from our population. All right? So let's take a look at that whole big picture here. All right? So as I just said, we're taking this population, we're producing data from that population. Okay? This data that we're producing is the sample. All right? Now, with that sample, we're going to do another step that's called the analysis, the data analysis. That would be sort of our second step in the process. All right? Now, once we've done that data analysis, we use a little something you probably heard of called probability. With probability, we then move on to use a process that you probably have not heard of called inference, to make a judgment of that probability, to then turn around and say something about the whole population. Okay, so let's look at our example. It says at the end of April 2005, a poll was conducted by ABC News and Washington Post for the purpose of learning the opinions of U.S. adults about the death penalty. Okay? So, our population we're looking at here is U.S. adults. Okay? The U.S. adults then, we're going to take from that a sample of 1,082 adults. That's our sample. We're not doing all U.S. adults. We're just looking at 1,082 of them. All right? In those 1,082 adults, we find that 65% favor the death penalty. Okay? So 65% favor the death penalty. Now we're going to use probability on this. I'm not going to explain the mathematics behind it at this point. We're just going to kind of just understand there's some mathematics that goes on here. And when we do that, and we use this process of inference, we find that we can say that we are 95% confident that 62 to 68% of the adults in the U.S. favor the death penalty.